guys, and welcome! My name is Michael, I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to Spelljammer, the Flight of the Northwest. Our, Spelljammer, I was gonna say Starfinder, it's Spelljammer. That's what we're doing. This isn't Starfinder, this is Spelljammer, very different thing. And we are, of course, joined by
legally distinct game.
Yes, super
very
legally distinct. You know, it's really funny, too, because the authors know where I live.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, Eric, don't worry. Just skip this episode. Anyway, guys, welcome in. It's been a while. We hope that you guys have enjoyed the little break. For those of you who haven't been here before, welcome for the very first time. We promise we're professional. Yeah, well, let me introduce you to these wonderful and amazing cast members who are going to be embarking on this adventure with us today, starting, of course, with none other than our delightful Master of Ceremonies and GM for the session, our dear friend Ryan from Roll for Initiative. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
That's me. I'm well. That's all I got. That was it.
That was it. Fair enough. Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself and where on the internet you live and what you do over there.
Oh, what do I do? Well, I am one half. Really, I'm 1/4 of Roll for Initiative. Dawn does 3/4 of the videos that are out there. We are coming on the tail end of a bunch of really fun Halloween videos. So if you like horror and horror themed games and movies, go check those out. Roll for Initiative on YouTube and R4I vlog on all of the other socials.
Spectacular. And next up, of course, joining us aboard the ship, playing the role of Will, the incredibly not sus person. Won't let you.
Not at all.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dear friend Tuck, who also did the art that you can see here of the actual Northwest. So welcome in. Hey, Tuck.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Tucker. I play Will. I do some 3D modeling on the side. You can find me on Instagram at Shadowcast Creations or email me at shadowcast.creations@gmail.com.
Next up on this motley crew, playing the role of Ruan, the person who appears to be allergic to authority, is, of course, our dear friend Nix. G'day, Nix.
Heyo! Hi, everybody. Nix playing Ruin. I don't want to be the captain, and I refuse to take any more promotions. You can find me on the internet predominantly at Twitter, MC_etching. I'm a glass etcher, I'm a kilted himbo, and I'm an internet silly person who does things.
Nice. And next up, playing the role of the newly appointed Captain of the Northwest, none other, the one, the only, the amazing Ellen, playing Captain Lockjaw.
I actually hear there's a few Ellen Grahams, like, even in my local area. But that's okay. I'm the best one.
Yeah, I'll just give you a sword. I'll mail it to you, and then you can fight to the death, because there can be only one.
That's what I hear. And you can find me and all the good stuff I do at Roll to Cast, which is ROLE to cast. We're an any-winning variety TTRPG podcast. Each season of our podcast is a different game system, so there's something for everyone. They're all self-contained stories, so you don't need to go all the way back to episode 1. You can listen to whatever season kind of tickles your pickle the best. So follow Roll to Cast wherever you listen to podcasts, but also on all the social medias. Sadly, most of what we do is on Twitter. I guess I need to start rethinking about that. I don't know.
Womp, womp.
Let's all move to Tumblr, baby. Yeah. It's finally happened. And I play Lockjaw, who is, the newly appointed and newly sober Captain of the Northwest, who we will see, how does a sober bard operate in this world? Poorly, I would think. And that's me.
That's true. And of course, my name is Mike. I'm Dead Aussie Gamer. I don't need to plug myself because this is my channel. And if you're here, then stay, I guess, please. I play Lockridge, who is, of course, a GIF ex-soldier who is very slowly being dragged back into his soldiering ways, who is, of course, the current XO of the Northwest. And that's who we are and what we're doing. Now, before we get started and throw us into the intro, guys, we're going to take a quick moment to thank the people and the products that make us so awesome. Starting, of course, with none other than Roll20, our VTT of choice, which, of course, we use to make the maps and the tokens and all the cool things that you see. Actually, the tokens and all that, it come courtesy of, I believe, the R4I team. For all of that, and you can see all of our pretty artworks there on screen. And then, of course, Sirenscape for the wonderful soundtracks and music you will hear throughout the entire throughout the entire season, really. And also, by the way, if you want to go and check out more of Ellen's stuff, Ellen does stuff over on the Sirenscape Twitch channel.
That's true.
Well.
Every Friday.
You do, and you know what? I wasn't going to say anything because this is the thing. But if you are not caught up on the cyberpunk coolness that is over on the Sirenscape thing, they just did a couple of episodes of a behind-the-scenes interview with a good friend of mine, Uda Hime, who I'm also starring with on a different channel, the Mercs of Mischief. So yeah, there you go. Triple plugs.
Together. It's all coming together.
Yep, it is. Soon there'll be no one. Soon there'll just be one Twitch channel to rule them all.
It's like one D&D.
And in the darkness bind them?
Yes. I'm going to leave that one. I had a joke, but I realized that we're PG. All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's fine. Roll the clip. Let's just,
Roll that beautiful.
Yeah, we may be PG, but when the cameras ain't rolling.
That's true. If only I could.
What just happened during the
videos
intro.
of me on the internet furiously eating graham crackers in the corner.
Yep.
Okay, and see. We will pick up immediately where we left off. And if you're wondering what happened, go back and watch the previous episodes. They're all up online VOD.
Absolutely.
We open on a fairly idyllic little farmstead. There's a adorable little ranch house that has just one too few rooms for how many children and adults are in there. It's small, it's dusty, it's crowded, but it is well-worn and a well-loved room. The sun is shining in the sky, a beautiful sort of dark blue sky, wispy clouds above, and we see a 13-year-old Ruin who is sort of hunched over a handmade wooden fence that blocks off the sort of acre of the homestead. Short scrub grasses and dusty, rocky area that's maybe 5 or 6 miles and however many kilometers, I don't know, I'm an American, from the quarry. And we see Ruin is trying to attract the attention of a squirrel that is in a short tree that's going on. So Ruin, what is it that you're doing to try to get the attention of this squirrel, or for our German friends, Squiveril? What are you trying to do?
Just sitting at the base of a tree quietly, not moving. I've got a pile of just dried preserved foods, got a bit of a trail leading, and I'm just furiously in my head while keeping a calm demeanor. Come here, you little shit.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you are a small child. I think even a level 1 would be a bit of a gimme. So, well, let's just do this. We'll use what you've got. Make an animal handling check for me, please.
God, don't kill the squirrel.
Squirrel handling. Yeah, all right. So an 18. So you've got this stuff, and this the squirrel's just kind of and scampers down.
It's a messed up
Grabs
squirrel, man.
the little bit of food that you have, and while looking at you, he's about a foot away, chewing on the thing, and it just chews on it for a little bit and then shoves the entire bit of food into its cheek and holds its little paws out, and it's just like,
Just, hey there, little buddy, and I'll just toss a few more bits. And each time I toss one, if he goes for it, I'll toss the next one a little closer.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it grabs one and chews on it for a second, and like knocks it against the ground, and then shoves it into a cheek, and then grabs another one and chews on it and knocks it to the ground and throws it over its shoulder. Grabs one. It's pretty close for you. Make another animal handling check for me, please. Yeah. So you dart your hands out, and you now have a squirrel in your hands, and it just kind of goes
I'm just
and
make
flops,
It
just
died?
like ragdoll flops in your hands, and its tail twitches, its big floopy tail twitches, and then it like you feel it stiffen its own body. Like you can definitely tell it's still alive. You can feel its heartbeat.
It's just
But
a
it's
very
just like-
dramatic.
Yeah,
the
very
award goes
dramatic
to-
squirrel.
I think they're trying to say that they're starving.
No, it's not. It's protein. Okay, this is all. You just got to remember, all right? This cake
It's a-
squirrels, great protein.
You bite the squirrel's head off. No.
It's-
No.
Yes,
it's-
you have this overly dramatic squirrel that has like light as a board, stiff as a feather in your hands.
And I'll just kind of make soft little cooing noises at it. And as I'm holding it, just right here on the edge of my thumb, I'll put a little bit more and just kind of sit there to see if that resuscitates the overly dramatic squirrel.
Yeah, so overly dramatic squirrel, like you're petting it and its tail kind of relaxes, and you put some food like in the corner of the palm of your hand, and it's there, and you see its nose like twitch, and then it's like one eye opens, and it's like the eye closes, and it's just like, and yeah, it grabs that little bit of food, and sort of in doing so bites you, and this little well of blood sort of pools up and rolls off the back of your hand, and you jerk, and the squirrel drops and looks at you and runs up the tree.
Bloody knew it.
Where squirrel confirmed.
Where squirrel? Exactly.
How you,
yes.
This is how you got rabies.
It's my big
Yeah.
secret.
He thinks he turns into a squirrel during the full moon, but it's really just Ruan just going. Everyone just lets him have it. The squirrel sort of runs away, and like you can see it up in a tree, and it like is yelling at you, and is like is chittering and yelling, and then sort of runs up farther where you can't necessarily see it, and you're sitting there with a little bit of blood pouring down the back of your hand. And as you sort of sit there for a little bit, you see walking up the road from the direction of the quarry, you see the sort of the blue knit cap And it actually looks very familiar. It would, if anyone else was in your memories, it would look very familiar to the knit cap that Ruin wears. It is the same blue knit cap, but you see this blue knit cap on an older guy, you know, in his, not old, you know, he's in his mid 40s, a bit of red hair sticking out from underneath it, red and gray from stress, you know, 2-day beard. He's got a bag with some tools sticking out of it. And you recognize Walrick, your father, walking up the path to the homestead. It looks like he is on his way home from work in the quarry.
I'll toss the last little bit of food that I have just kind of on the ground in front of me and leave it for the squirrels and go running up to meet him.
Yeah, nice. You can hear squirrels running and sort of fighting, not violently, but fighting and tussling over the food as you run up and you sort of slam into your father, and you're like, "Ooh, how has your day gone, Ruin? What have you been up to?"
I finished the chores you had set out for me, and I finally got one of the squirrels to come close enough that I could pick one up.
Yeah, he kind of looks at your hand and he sees that, and his brow kind of furrows, and he says, "Well, the things in nature are meant to, you know, outside is meant to be outside, but I'm glad you're making friends with someone at least." And he sort of like licks his thumb and like tries to clean off the corner of your hand, and it seems to sort of keep bleeding. And he takes out of his pocket, he takes a red handkerchief and wraps it around your hand, and this too would look very familiar. There's a similar red, if not the same one, there's a similar red handkerchief that Ruin wears tied Alan Grant style around his neck, most of the time, but he ties it around your hand to sort of stop your hand from bleeding. And he asks you to tell you about what your mother and your two sisters were up to as you guys spend the last sort of half-mile walk from the edge of your homestead to the house.
I mean, you know, I was so busy with chores, and I believe Mother was back in the orchards for a while today, and sister, you know her, always with the magics.
Yeah, you've got a couple of sisters, and Kayina, your eldest sister, or your younger sister?
Eldest.
Your eldest sister sort of had been tagged for one of the wizarding schools that to sort of learn a little bit to refine her magic. Someone that you've always looked up to, and you know, dinner is simple but cooked with love, and you know, no one ever goes to bed hungry. There's usually, you know, games and songs around a fire in a wood stove, and all of that sort of thing. We'll flash forward a couple of seasons, and we see Ruin, and there is sort of a den of foxes, and you are sitting there. Your father is off to work again. He's been working a lot more recently. He's kind of been promoted to a foreman position. He doesn't work in the mines as much. He oversees a lot of things. It's meant, you know, you've built an extra story onto the house, but it means he's gone a lot longer. Your sister Kayena is gone off to school, so it's really only your mother and your younger sister. But you have a very, very simple non-board musket that your father left with you that morning, and it's late in the evening now as you sit about 20-30 yards away from this fox den. It is a fox den that has been making off with the chickens on the farm, and you've been here for a good 2 or 3 hours, knowing that your task for the day was to get rid of these foxes with the musket, that this sort of single shot musket that your dad left you.
As I'm sitting there waiting to see signs of foxes or anything to come out, I've been kind of working on kind of crafting. I've been over time making like an articulating squirrel toy. I've just been slightly carving pieces to it, just, keeping an eye on the fox den, waiting to see if they poke their heads out, waiting for it to get later in the evening. Just kind of, I don't have a lot of time with the chores anymore to try and coax the animals to come hang out with me.
Okay.
So I'm kind of just, carving my own little friends.
Got it. Make a nature check for me.
How many times can you get rabies in one game?
6.
Yeah. All right. So with a 6, so you're sort of, I'm gonna say you're laying prone on your belly with the musket. There is Ruin hesitant about this task, or he's like, hey, this is what I got to do. You guys are killing the chickens. This is the way it works.
He very much learned from his father, the work comes first, whether or not you like it. So I may not want to do this, but I've been tasked with a job.
So as you lay there, you're laying there and you're looking, you've got a line down the bore of the musket, and you're just waiting for one of these foxes that you know what you have to do to pop its head out of this thing. And you hear just this little sound, like half a foot, 6 inches, 5 inches to your left. And as you look just with your eyes to your left, there is a fox laying in the grass next to you, looking at the fox den, that has snuck up and doesn't understand what you are, and is laying down and looks over back at you and just lets out this little sharp, shrill, kitting sound as it has snuck up on you. There it is. Yeah, nice. Yeah, foxes sound weird when you actually hear them.
Thanks, Sirenscape.
That's what the fox says. Anybody
Mystery
early
solved.
2000s?
Oh
yeah, so this little fox is there. What does Ruin do? Ruin's probably 13, 14 at this point.
Oh, this is the worst. Why did you have to be cute? Just kind of slowly put down the carving that I'm working on and try to reach for the musket.
Oh, it's in your, you got it. Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's next to me, so I have to swing it to the side. And, oh god, point blank.
Yes, you have to roll and try to from the hip with a musket up. Please just make a dexterity, add your weapons proficiency, but roll at disadvantage.
Oh, thank God. I really
thought Ryan was going to be like, no, there's nothing that's going to stop you from murdering this fox.
Are you trying to get PETA to come after us?
So roll a dexterity.
Oh, there's a nebula fox that's coming next.
Jesus. So roll
Yeah,
a dexterity.
so roll dex with disadvantage. Let's just start
Okay.
there.
No, I need to point that. 1, 2. I'm pretty sure that's gonna maybe. Can I do worse? Oh no, they're exactly
you
the
managed
same.
to roll 2 6s. Okay, so it's
Roll
a
3
6,
6s
but
in a
then
row.
add what is your weapon's proficiency for ranged? I believe it's a 2 or a 3.
My proficiency bonus is +2.
+2. So you roll and your musket goes off and this thing screeches at you and takes off. But I mean, you hear like a caw, 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 as you come nowhere near that. And that sort of that evening, as you are sort of talking about things with your dad, and he asks you how the chores went and if you took care of the foxes. How do you respond to that?
Chores got finished on time. I stalked out the fox's den. They are far wilier than I'm used to. I did my best, Father, but it evaded me. I got a shot off. You know how slippery they can be sometimes.
So he sort of sighs, and the sun's not quite down. He sort of sighs, and his dinner is about half done. And he sort of scooches back from the table and grabs like hunk of cornbread or something like that, and shoves it in a jacket pocket as he slips his boots on, and grabs just like a field axe, and tells your mom not to wait up. He'll be back as soon as he can. And there's, it's not, he's not angry, but you can't help but hit a small bit of disappointment as the door closes, as he goes out to sort of deal with what you weren't able to.
He's disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
The silent I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. That's even worse.
Yeah, well, Tucker as the dad of a 4-year-old, I'm sure you're very used to.
It's the not saying anything but grabbing the axe that like
Yeah.
oh,
like,
not for me. Not for me.
Is it raining outside as well?
So later that winter, as your dad leaves early one morning, the sun isn't quite up yet. You and him are standing next to one of the food barrels, food crates, where you store a lot of stuff that you either grow yourselves, can yourselves, or buy, and buy and barter from town. He's off. The sun's not quite up yet, and he's handed you a it almost looks like a feed bag for a horse. It's full of grain, but it smells bad, and he tells you to wear a glove before you use it. And he's explained that it's been poisoned. It's got hemlock juice that is all over all of this grain. And you can see in a number of the crates and bags that there are holes chewed in them. And this isn't sort of like a little shed where you store a lot of stuff. There's a line of about 20 or 30 small carved, almost clockwork. You can kind of see it from left to right, from very crude wood and soapstone carved. If you squint, if you close your eyes and pretend, it looks like a squirrel or a rabbit. All the way to the far right, the 19th, 20th one almost look like clockwork little animals that are standing on a base that if you push the bottom of the base, the animal will rear up like a deer will rear up and then come back down and rear up, that you've carved over the last 2 or 3 years. Ruin at about 15 years old, and he's explaining that you need to lay out all of this poisoned grain around the grove of trees, because there are rodents, whether they're mice or squirrels or whatever they are, that have been getting into the stores for the winter. And he sort of looks at you and looks to the carvings and looks back at you and says, I know how it is that you feel about the little critters, but at the same time, they're wild animals, and the outside stays outside, and these ones have gotten inside, so I need you to take care of this for me. He pats you on the shoulder and he goes off to work. You do have sort of a half finished carving that's rodent-like, but it hasn't really taken a form yet. It could easily become a rabbit or a raccoon or a squirrel or a possum or something like that, that's on the table next to the bag of poisoned grain.
Woof.
I'll take my time, but gather what I need to do the job that's been put in front of me. The work comes first.
Sure. You head out to the tree and you wait sort of to, these critters. You've gotten to the point where you can tell when they're back in their home, when they're up, when are they going to eat and all that kind of stuff. I assume Ruin sort of is messing with his carving, tinkering thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a little tinker check. What is that we usually do? That's our, is that a performance? Is that what we usually have your tinkering stuff go off of?
I don't remember.
Let me pull up
was
your sheet real quick.
It's like an artistic craft, but
yeah, you're crafting. And so I know you have advantage on it, but I'm just trying to remember the skill that it goes off of. I'm sure if I get it wrong, chat will tell me and I'll read about it tomorrow when I go back.
No.
So let's make it this hold on. There we go. View campaign.
I mean, either way, these squirrels are super dead.
They're super.
Or
actually make this,
I start my villain arc.
Make this an Arcana check, and you do have advantage with it.
Okay, so advantage.
Oh, here we were thinking it was just a sweet little backstory, huh?
Then number 2.
Okay. So as you're crafting this thing, as you're messing with it, you feel sort of like a warm. Your left arm starts to go numb. You start sweating. No, you feel there is a really weird sort of pins and needles feeling that it starts in your chest and goes through your arms and into your fingers, and you sort of are working through it, and you're carving this thing, and you've got these metal and wooden these springs and these little latches, and you're building this thing that you've learned over years how to build. And as you sort of press the button, and you realize that you've carved a squirrel sort of absent-mindedly as you're sitting in front of this tree, as you press the button to make its tail twitches, this little wooden and metal critter, its tail twitches, but then it sort of looks up at you, and you hear the sound of like wooden knocking as it chitters its teeth at you, and then this wooden critter that you've carved out of wood and pasted together and put the slots in the metal together, sort of like runs around in a circle of its own power, completely of its own volition, and its wooden feathered tail, like you've carved the wood splinter like, almost to look like feathers. And this little wooden squirrel sort of like looks up at you and it's just like,
very taken aback.
I mean, at least this one can't give you rabies, I guess.
Right?
right.
Just
Splinters.
It bites you and gives you rabies.
completely
And splinters.
completely in shock.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I just kind of freeze for a sec. But I kind of move towards it to see what it does. Just kind of
sure,
slide a foot forward.
You slide a foot forward and it runs onto the top of your boot and up your pant leg, and before you kind of know what's going on, is perched on your shoulder. It's about half the size of an actual squirrel, sort of chirping and chittering, and it's making the right kinds of sounds, but it sounds like rasping, like wood rubbing on wood and knocking wood instead of chittering teeth. Yeah, like right on your shoulder.
I'll just kind of look at it and okay. Can you understand me? Can you raise an arm? Okay. This is the best, weirdest day of my life. Okay. Deep breaths. Can you run around in 3 circles?
It like around your chest very awkwardly, and after a third circle ends back up on your shoulder. And
Okay, so it's of an intelligence. I'm immediately gonna pick up the bag of poison grain, making sure I don't spill any, and I'm gonna rush as fast as I can back to find my father.
okay, as you start to go, make a perception check.
Dun.
You die.
It did have rabies. I told you.
You can't die. This is in the past.
Sure you can.
Yeah, as you start to go, you notice that there are like 3 other of these squirrels from the tree that have come down the tree and are like looking at what it is that's going on. And this little wooden squirrel runs down your chest and down your leg, and it's like, and the squirrels, like these 3, as well as like 4 or 5 more from the tree, like just run out into the field, screaming and skittering away from your farmstead. And the little wooden squirrel like chases them a couple of feet and then picks up a little twig and like holds it against his shoulder like a rifleman, and puffs its chest out and is like and is like marching around the foot of the tree.
This is very strange. Very strange, babe.
Okay, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna tell it, I need you to, well done. This is exactly what I need. I need you to come with me.
Back up on your shoulder.
And I am going to quickly try and find my father.
You've introduced war into a
Yeah, you
species.
run. You are running towards the quarry, and you're about halfway there when the little wooden squirrel, you hear it just kind of be like, and it sort of then just sort of collapses onto your shoulder and is just a wooden toy again.
What?
Okay, oh shit. I will
So it's been about I want to say it's been about 10 minutes and it collapses and it's just a wooden toy.
Okay, so just to make sure, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit and see if that has any effect on it.
No, the distance, no, that's not
Okay.
it. Make an Arcana check.
What are 10 minutes for Little Ruin?
I think Lockridge has a question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this the origin story for Dr. Robotnik? Because having
Ruin at the end of this episode, at the end of this campaign, is going to put on 300 pounds
and a spruce mustache go bald because
And grow
he's
a
literally
mustache,
going
yes.
into the woods, turning woodland creatures into robots. That's literally Robotnik's whole thing.
exactly.
I mean,
So,
you could be bald under that cap.
Yes, origin story of Dr. Robotnik. With a natural 20, ladies and gentlemen, audiences, boys and girls, theys,
Esteemed
and,
others.
esteemed others. With a natural 20, I'm going to say this. I'm going to narrate it a little bit. You hold the toy in your hand and you try to summon forth that pens and needles feeling. And like it starts to happen and then it doesn't. And you try again and the pins and needle feeling, it like starts to grow from your chest, but it's not like it's your heart. It's not like it's a biological thing. There's this deep in your soul starts to try and it doesn't. And this is just something that whatever came from you that gave this toy life for 10 minutes, it's like you run a marathon, and even though you could run another mile, mentally, physically, your body's just like, I don't have anything left. And so you don't know what it is that happened, but you know that there's something in you that is just depleted for the day. And that is what brought this little squirrel toy to life. And you have a pretty good feeling that maybe tomorrow you could get another 10 or even 15 minutes out of it.
Then I will immediately still continue to go and find my father.
Okay, yeah, you get to him. You know exactly where he is. He's got a foreman's office in the quarry. You go there, and hey, that's Ruin. Hey. People know you're. When are you going to start working for us? I don't know why they sound like Muppets, but they do. Yeah, you find
Instead,
your
Ruin
dad.
land.
That's no problem. You get to Walrick easy.
Just wherever he's at, just burst in on him. Just
whoa, hey, what's this? What is it that I? Oh, okay, calm down.
Show him the Tinker Squirrel.
Yeah,
and just Father, I did it. I magics of some kind. I was doing the chores and I was finishing my new carving, and it came to life. It chased off the other squirrels. It perched on my shoulder. It followed commands. It did the job. It did the work. I told it to do the work, and it did the work.
Your dad is holding the squirrel, and as you tell him all of this, you see sort of tears form along his eyes, and he picks. Your dad worked in mines for 30 years. He's big, strong, barrel chested. He picks you up and hugs you almost too tight, and you hear him say, I never would have thought that 2 mages in the family, your sister's going to be so happy. I've never been more proud of you, and gives you just this huge kiss on the cheek and holds you tight.
So
I will
nice.
absolutely cry.
In the artificer's hold of the Northwest, the memory of the creation of this wooden squirrel, of the carving of these squirrels, and the memory of that pride and love that his father felt. And that memory is so strong that as the astral beacon pulls that one moment of pride that your father felt, it pulls all memories of Ruin's father from him.
No.
And Ruin, as far as he knows all his life, has grown up without a father, his mother and two sisters. And the beacon glows with a light that even when you close your eyes can be seen. It is not a visual light. It is a light of the astral realm. And this engine glows so brightly that any astral voyager would be able to see this beacon if they are anywhere within, because of the way that travel works in the astral sea, it works by will and distances change. This beacon will forever be fixed to this space. The strange magics cause the Northwest to slowly come to a halt. I need to get a Will and Lockjaw roll D6 for me, please. Whoever gets the highest is the current navigator.
Right, that's straight up devious. Was that just a D6?
Just a D6, yeah.
Yeah. Do I roll it in D&D Beyond or roll 20?
You can do /R, or you
I
can
just
just
got
roll
a
D6
6.
dice in D&D Beyond. Well, Will just rolled a 6, so he's probably gonna be our
Okay,
nav.
well, that's you. Over to
Yeah,
you,
we'll
bud.
just say it's Will. Will, you feel the ship come to a slowing stop, which usually only happens when something like as large as a ship is nearby, but you don't see anything, you don't sense anything. The ship comes to a stop, and this astral beacon will be fixed in this place, but anyone traveling the astral sea will be able to see and know, not just see it, but know where it is psychically if they are anywhere within a month of the beacon, which is out of character, one of the strongest levels of this beacon possible. But Ruin, you have no memory of your father.
Bro.
Yeah, so with that back in the current present, with our new captain sleeping Will on the top deck during the middle of a day watch, the captain's catching a little bit of a nap. Lockridge is, we're going to put Will in our chair. We'll say Lockridge is near the forecastle there. We've got Villia at the helm, two groups of our folks, and we'll say Tig is helping. Tig is essentially just mopping and working with Lana that's going on. Yeah, Will, you feel the ship grind herself to a halt, but you do not see any other larger astral body. You are not entirely sure what this would do, but in a magical psychic sense, it's like down and to the right of you, there's a blinding spotlight that isn't visual, but you still can sense magically that it's there.
Is there any sort of intercom-like ability when you are piloting a Spelljammer?
You can have a vague sense of where people are, and if you take essentially 1 minute to concentrate, you can try to hone in on where one person that you know is. But in the immediate sense, there isn't like a two-way walkie. No.
All right. Yeah, 1 minute is too long considering something just happened below decks. So mentally, yeah, Will's going to just send Prince to move dash get down to where they know that happened immediately, and will shift their vision and hearing into Prince.
Prince is a familiar, correct?
Yes.
So Prince the Kingfisher flies off and flies down the steps, can see where it is, flies directly into the room, and you are immediately blinded. You cannot see the light through Prince's eyes, this magical connection. There is a light so bright that Prince is under the blind status ailment. Haha! Imagine I can see through darkness. Fuck you! It's so bright. Oh, there's my one F word. Sorry.
Ryan's out for blood today.
I guess from Ruin's perspective, Prince, which you would recognize as the Kingfisher that's often around Will, flies into the room, and
this
then
bright
probably,
blue and white Kingfisher that flies in.
What?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, there's this bright blue and white Kingfisher bird that flies into the
possibly into a wall or something as it is blinded.
I'll say it just kind of hovers a little and then lands on a table and has its eyes.
See, this is why I don't trust woodland creatures.
And this was in
chimpanzee. What's that?
But from this, Will's got a decent sense of what part of the ship this happened in.
Yes.
And it was from Ruin's workshop, effectively.
Yeah, you're in the back, you're in the aft of the ship.
All right. Gonna send a message to Ruin, assuming Ruin's within 120 feet of Will. Just Ruin, something just happened in your workshop. I need eyes on it.
Okay. We're gonna say that takes a couple of minutes. So I do want to jump over to Lockridge. Lockridge, you're sort of at the forecastle here, up near the very bow of the ship, where the sort of nebula ball, where normally you would see like a mermaid or something like that or a dragon's head carved in. There's just this bright glowing teal nebula as the masthead. And you have to grab the railing as the ship comes to a quick halt, and within a couple of seconds you see Will's bird fly down below deck, down the stairs that are directly behind you. What do you want to do? We'll say you've got 2 or 3 rounds, which is still only 18 seconds, but 3 rounds worth of movement, actions, yada yada.
All right. What have I heard? Am I just vibing out in the
you feel the ship come to a halt. I don't think you've not necessarily heard things other than there's about 4, 3, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 people on the top deck, and then there's a bunch of people below deck. So you hear some clattering and you hear some voices as imagine if a speedboat went from full throttle to stop in a couple of seconds, but you are a giant ass wooden ship.
All right, and obviously there's been no command to stop. I think the first thing he'd do is go to Will, who's piloting, and
you can see Will from there. Will has sort of this glazed over look that he gets when he is looking through the Kingfisher's eyes. And then you see Will sort of recoil like he was looking into a bright light, even though there's nothing but the stars and the quintessentially night sky around you guys.
Hey, Will. All right, you're doing all right, buddy. We've come to a stop.
Hilariously enough, I'm probably still listening immediately through print, so I probably don't hear anything. But
True enough.
if Will
all of his senses-
notices,
so you yell out and he doesn't respond, but still continues to look concerned and blinded.
All right. Well, it appears as though our navigator is broken. I'm going to have to go and find a new one. I'm going to instruct the crew. All right, crew. Take Will back to his quarters and wake up the captain. Who was the other person that could potentially pilot? Was that the Thrycreen? Yeah.
Well, so Lockjaw is the other main pilot, but then you do know that Ruin can pilot now, and you know that if really pressed, Lana could be a pilot.
All right. I will instruct the crew to put Will into his sleeping quarters, presuming that he is passed out. And I will.
You know how he sleeps with his eyes open.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who knows? It's kind of it's not exactly more expertise here, all right? But he's
Sure.
Unresponsive. We've come to a halt. As far as I'm concerned, he's either in a coma or dead. So either way, he needs to go to his bunk.
What are you gonna physically do?
My God,
I'm
medic.
physically nothing, but I am ordering the crew as the XO
Okay.
to take him to his quarters and sending a message to Lana to get on deck and plug themselves in.
Look at the hat. That's fantastic.
I can't get it to fit over my headphones. So.
We're gonna say, because this is a matter of seconds, we're gonna say that Villia gets to Will, and like Will, you essentially, when you do regain your own sense of vision, you sort of find yourself being led past the ship's wheel towards the stairs. Captain Lockjaw, would you please make a dexterity save?
Ha! What? Ah!
Oh, actually, before we do any of this, Captain
Probably need
Lockjaw,
a constitution.
for all of you that are now playing with us, as Lockjaw is starting their wonderful trek into sobriety, they will be making the occasional Constitution save to see if they're going through withdrawals. So please make a Constitution save. This is your very first one. It is a DC 20.
Jesus, no.
Yeah, you don't have a great Constitution either. I know.
No, I don't. It's the years of drinking.
That's exactly what it
The
is.
I'll
years
get
of
you.
drinking has really worn me down. Yeah, I don't pass that. And then a dexterity save?
Dexterity save, yes.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's a 6 on both. So it's not a great morning for me.
Did you roll on? It didn't pop up on.
Oh,
D-
didn't I?
but-
Was I meant to touch the token or? It should
No,
just
you should
come
be
up,
able
right?
to, if you click on the little dice and you just roll the, or not on the dice, if you just roll the red B, if you click on the
Yeah.
red B on Dex, it should do it for us.
That's what I did. I don't.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Well,
and
anyway, you said it was a 6?
yeah, it was a 6 for both.
Okay, well, 6 is not a 20. So,
That's true.
these will affect your physical. I'm not going to do mental. This is a homebrew ruled thing. This is how I'm dealing with withdrawal. Don't at me. But for your
At you so
dexterity, if you will please roll a dexterity save at disadvantage.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Now,
I've
this
already
isn't a
got
super hard one. We're looking for a 10, but it is at disadvantage.
I've already rolled 1 6, so I
Okay,
guess
well.
I've already failed. I can roll the
Yeah.
second one just for. Oh, what? The second one was a natural 20.
Oh, way to
Absolutely
waste
get
that.
wrecked. Get wrecked. Why is
Well, luckily you do have those extra constitution points. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I need you to take 4 points of damage.
bro? Is it straight
As
to my
you-
liver?
Tumble out of your bed from your little cat nap and like crack your skull against the little like folding wall partition that you use to section off where your cot is. And you just
Oh!
you crack it, and you find a little brad nail that just like scratches you along the side of the head. And yeah, you take 4 points of slashing damage as this brad nail slices your head open as the ship comes to a halt. Disoriented, bleeding, and not feeling physically well at all, and awkwardly not moving. What does Captain Lockjaw do?
Oh, I think out of habit, he'll reach for his bedside stand, realize that there's no booze there.
Oh, you know what? You
What?
find. Hold on.
Oh no, I'm trying to be good.
No. Call me high or low.
I find what?
Call me high or low.
Oh, hi.
Okay. There is a tomato juice with lemon, with a little note that has Lana's little L signature on it, on your nightstand where you normally would keep your little flask at. So you have a lemon and tomato juice.
That's
that you
very
instinctually
nice.
reach for booze, and you have V8 in your hand instead.
Oh, well, it's the thought that counts, and I'll. Oh, Jesus.
It is, you know what? Think of it this way. It is the world's weakest Bloody Mary.
Yep, turns out I really only liked that for the alcohol and not the taste. Learning more about myself every day. Why we stopped? I'll lurch out, with the head bleeding. I'll throw the coat on. Basically, he's pretty much shirtless with pants and the coat over his bare chest. Can someone tell me why the bloody hell we've stopped?
So, Ruin, your eyes adjust. You see a bird squawking and trying to cover its face with a wing. Lockridge, you are trying not to fall over the edge into the stairwell as Villia takes a blind and deaf Will towards the door of the captain's quarters, which burst open, and a bleeding, pantsless captain.
Hey, no, I said I had pants.
Oh, sorry. A bleeding, shirtless captain
Thank you.
bellows out, "Why are we stopped?" And I'm going to say, between the physical contact and the yelling, Will, that severs your immediate connection to what's the familiar's name?
Prince.
Right?
Prince. That severs your connection to Prince, and you have a shirtless, concussed, bleeding head Captain Lockjaw asking you why you stopped the ship.
There's something just happened in Ruin's workspace. I sent Prince check it out, and there was a bright light down there. I messaged Ruin. He hasn't responded.
Wait,
we need eyes below deck.
What do you mean something happened? Something large enough to stop the ship?
Yes.
You did, yes. And so he says yes. I'm sorry, I did miss that. As you sort of see this bird trying to cover its face with its wing, you do hear in your mind Will's southern drawl asking you what's going on. You know that you have essentially a sentence to respond.
I built the thing we found in the box.
So as you say, I haven't heard from him. As Captain Lockjaw starts to respond, you hear, "I built the thing we found in the box," echo in your head.
In my head, or in Will's head?
No. Will hears that right after you respond.
So
this also
Will
happened
that,
right at the same 12 seconds.
So Will says that, and then just sort of stops for a second, and like clearly there's a moment of trying to process what exactly that would mean before going, all right, Ruin said they built something that we found in the box, which we as a group had determined was a beacon, right?
Yeah, you know what that is. Whether you
Okay.
put together immediately that's what was in the box, you know what the beacon is and what it does. And the fact that nothing like that exists in all of creation as far as you know.
Holy shit. He built the beacon. He made it. It works. I gotta see. And like half sentence, Will turns and heads sprints down.
Whoa. I'll follow him.
You
yeah.
both brush past Villia, who's just like, Captain. And Villia like just follows slowly along and is like just at the wheel, like I guess back to my job now. Yeah, Lockridge, you see the both of them rush down the stairs. Do you guys shout to Lockridge what's going on?
Yeah.
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 So yeah, they shout, they're like, Ruin built the thing, and they rush downstairs. Let's say we all end up in the artificer's table, unless you for some reason do not want to be there. Let's say that the officers all are like, this is probably important.
Oh yeah, I just want to make sure that that of course Will, who abandoned your post to go and scout, we have someone actually at the navigating helm. Because I don't know about
the
you.
Ship's not moving. You would know.
I would know nothing.
As
I am
long
a
as someone's
fighter with
explained
no
it to you.
understanding of magic.
Oh, well then, yeah, we actually will say that Lockridge thinks that someone has to be sitting in the chair for it to work.
Yep. That's 100% how Lockridge thinks it works. And
so Lockridge is following behind the both of you, like yelling, like, why doesn't the bloody chair?
No, I've already given the order for Lana to be up on the seat, so that's just something I want to make sure that the crew is still doing, is getting Lana into the Spelljammer.
So yeah, you hear Will, being the person who is still tethered and attuned to it, and you can be anywhere on the ship at all. You don't have to sit in the chair. It's more of a formality. Yeah, like Lana is literally like turning a crepe over, like a Swiss and mushroom crepe, and she gets told to go upstairs, and she's like, but I'm out of all of my shifts for the day, and like
Lana, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Wait,
looks like she's off the clock. We don't need someone up there. We're not moving, and as far as I can tell, Will's still not plugged in. What's that?
Attuned?
Yeah.
I'm still.
I mean, you could say plugged in.
You're still piloting this thing. Well, I mean, piloting it in a very loose term.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do that from down here. I just don't have a great view of where we're going.
But we're not going anywhere until we find out what's happening with this beacon.
You're right. But there's no way that we could suddenly just start straight forward. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's put a hold on something that's got its talk still going, all right, and then you let it go suddenly, and then we have a person who needs to be looking at where we're going downstairs. Might be a problem.
We're not going to stop moving without me telling us to start moving.
Right. Have you told us to stop, though?
No, the beacon stopped us.
Right. So what I'm saying is right now, your last command is that we're going forward very, very fast. And when the beacon
we're not going to
stops,
start moving again without me saying go. Trust me, Lockridge, this is how it works.
If it puts you at ease, it'll probably have...
I was going to say I trust you, but okay, if something stupid happens here, I'm going to smack you. All right?
You could try.
I would. No. There is no try, okay? I will smack you. Or I hit the eye of that giant whale with a tiny thing the size of a toothpick, okay? I will definitely backhand you. Don't you get that wrong.
We do have a smack policy on the ship.
That's right.
Just the idea that, like, light grievances can be solved by, like, allowing someone to slap you in the face. Like,
yeah, that's it.
It's basically a slap bet.
That's right. You take
that.
responsibility if you get things wrong. And Lockridge will keep going with everyone to...
We will say, moving forward, Lockridge now does have an understanding that the person who's piloting can pilot from wherever they are.
Oh yeah,
if he
yeah, yeah.
wants,
Yep.
if he wants to have that
If you
understanding.
yeah, no.
Oh, no,
yeah, if
no,
you-
he does. But Lockridge is viewing it the same way you would view like a normal sailing ship or stuff like that. Like, if you want to know where you're going, you have to see it. If you,
Nice.
if you tell say, if you're going forward, but something is holding you back and you're still going forward, as soon as that thing lets you go, you're gonna poof forward.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
and that's entirely it. Is if he is in
Ooh,
his
what
mind,
a
he's like, if that
wonderful
beacon stops.
idea.
Yeah, if this
I
beacon
hadn't
suddenly
thought of
stops and we just,
No, stop.
Just saying.
Keep that in mind.
Stop explaining it to Ryan.
Stop feeding the GM.
So that all gets settled as Ruin, as the three of your as the captain and the other two sort of clamber into the apothecaries or the what is your class called? I always call it the wrong
Artificer.
room.
Artificer?
The artificer's quarters. And yeah, there is a box about 1 foot. It seems to its sides, like you can't quite tell how many sides it has, and it's swirling with orange and teal and purple and black colors, like oil and water that won't mix. And it's those of you that have magical inclinations, if you choose to view it as a magical item, it is blinding. But if you sort of turn off that, if you blink and look into the spectrum of the normal physical world, it's just this sort of constantly shifting polyhedral that is made of wood, that is made of metal, and has just this a strange, slightly glowing, colorful colors inside, colorful colors. And it's sitting on the workbench, and Ruin is sort of just sitting there. He looks sweaty. He looks like he's been up all night, but doesn't look harmed or worse for wear by any means.
All right.
I've never seen anything like this in all my days, and I've had a fair few days. Will, do you have any idea how something like this has come to be, and how we can get the ship moving?
I mean, I don't know who originally designed it, but now that we can get these working, this is how we do it. this is how we actually chart this course, which means that
there was just the one box, right? Or
there were a couple of the beacons inside 1 or 2 boxes. So
there was one very large box that had the materials to build beacons, and essentially the IKEA instruction box that was lots of different arcane languages.
fantastic.
But Ruin has built this completely on his own. And Ruin, I'm gonna just go ahead and carry over your natural 20 arcane from the flashback. I'm gonna carry that over into this moment. You know that this beacon is, after hearing that the ship has stopped, the reason the ship has stopped is because this beacon is fixed at this point in the astral sea, and the astral sea does not exist in a fixed local universe. This thing, that's what makes this thing so powerful and so magical, is that it becomes a fixed point in a reality of motion. And you if you get it off the ship, you can move it around, but this is where it has to live. Once you get it off the ship, you'll be able to move the ship again.
all right, that was my next question. Like, do we need to cut a hole in the ship to like maneuver the ship around where this thing is?
No, it's one of those things where it's like, latitude and longitude, a hours, minutes, seconds. Well, seconds is within like 30, 40 feet. And Ruin, you know all of that. So however you wish to convey that as you sort of come out of your brain fog stupor, I'm going to say that sort of as everybody comes in, you sort of come to consciousness, as it were, hearing Will and the captain talking about the fact that you have built this beacon.
What are y'all doing in my shop?
Oh, well, your shop is now of interest to the entire ship. We're
You
stuck.
finished,
Well, yeah.
you finished the beacon.
Yeah, I built one. The instructions were right there. It just kind of, just spoke to me.
It
Well-
Needed
spoke
something
to
to
you.
keep, not in a real, the call to make a thing.
That's some very powerful magics you got there.
I don't know, it
There's
just
a
seemed
reason
to
we hired him.
just seemed the thing to do. It had the instructions right there, the parts were right there. It's the exact thing we needed. I needed a distraction after all of the upper management kerfuffle. So I figured
you-
I'd kill some time and make the thing in the box make our life a little bit easier.
Will's
Yeah.
just grinning, like,
Sounds like something
in
Captain
an
would do.
almost manic way, just at the beacon and the situation.
This is, so you understand it instinctively. Is that right?
Yeah, these things just, they got workings and workings kind of speak to me. So
Do you think you could move it? We need to... Is he just
picks it up
moving it
off the
around?
table. Yeah, he picks it up off the table.
All right, well, that's one question solved. One problem solved for the meantime. think you could-
That's the biggest problem solved. That was the biggest question mark, Captain. The fact that we can build these now means that we can actually do this. As long as we're able to actually survive the rest of this voyage, we're about to all be very rich.
Well, that's the thing, Ruin. Do you think you could do it again?
I mean, you seem to have a box full of parts and the instructions to put them together.
And are you all right in the head, boy? You looked out of
mean-
it.
I'm
Make a wisdom save,
Me?
or make a wisdom
Or-
check. Not a save. Not a save. Sorry.
Is this me?
No, Ruin.
Oh, okay.
Is he insight checking himself?
Yeah, I feel fine.
No, I'm bored and I'm the DM. I want to roll something.
Arbitrary rolls.
I was like, hold on, accessing.
Denied.
Yeah,
11.
I'm about
You have
about
you have a
35%.
headache and you're very tired, but you
I
feel
can use a snack.
fine.
A snack? All right. Someone get Ruin some food. We need to build this. We need to build another one. And then another one after that, if you can manage it.
I'm gonna need some rest.
And Ruin and Will make a Arcana check.
Oh, yeah, it's going to have to be you two.
Gonna guidance myself.
You don't want to use knowledge from a past life.
I mean, I might. We'll see how the rest of the roll goes. 17. Do I want
17
to
and
push
16.
that?
I could give one of you not guidance, inspiration.
Why not?
Ooh, it
I
would be
haven't
your
made
first
bad
inspiration
decisions
as
yet this
captain,
episode.
not as XO.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. How
Yeah.
do you?
Yeah,
How do you,
I haven't made any bad decisions yet this episode. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm
19.
curious. You do it?
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think
'Cause that takes.
yeah, I might just like lay a hand on Will. This could be a new era for the Northwest, but not just that. I've gone Cornish. Oh no, the Northwest, the Northwest, but not just that. I don't know. My boot from my hat when it comes to magic. I just do light songs here and there. But you know how special this is. We need to figure out how we can do it again.
All right. Take a D6 of inspiration. You're a D6 now, right?
Yeah.
Take a D6 of inspiration for it too. That's our first captain.
Yay!
That
I
brings
love
me
my
up to
little.
That brings me up to-
Funny enough, whenever Lockjaw realizes he's sober, he's actually super posh RP.
Yes, Will, come here, lad. What do you
Okay,
need
so-
to do?
That
We
brings
got
me
to
up,
do a couple of things.
that
gotta
brings
do
me
a
up to
couple
a
of things.
26
So-
total.
26 total off of Will. 16. I'm going to say this. Will, with a 16, you feel confident that you can build the structure of the engine for the thing again, but you realize that the next engine will not accept. No, we'll leave it at that. You know you can build an engine again. It'll take you a day, but you can build an engine again. Part 2, Will, with a 26, you realize that with the engine built for the beacon, no matter who builds it, Ruin or one of Ruin's assistants, 4 people working on it together, it's going to take about a day. Like, there's a lot of downtime and letting things work. The as he describes it to you, it gets fed magic, and it takes multiple, essentially what we understand as spell slots of magic to charge. But the final charge is you don't know it's a memory, but you know that it is something freely given of oneself. You know that the beacon will ask something of you, and you have to freely give it. Ruin has given that, whatever it is. Ruin cannot give that again. Someone else will have to. It doesn't have to be the magic user that gives the spell slots, but the last person, who does not have to be a magic user, has to freely give this last portion of themselves to the engine.
So I'm gonna ask something. I just want to make sure that I don't want to metagame, and I want to make sure that how Will interprets this
Yes.
tracks. The language that you're used in terms of like something freely given, and does Will understand that it's then taken? Like, it's not a freely given and shared, but taken?
You give it, and therefore it is no longer yours.
Okay.
But I will say, and I will say this, and I will say that as a DM, I believe I am saying this honestly. What you give does not harm you. It does not harm you that you give it. But once you give it, it is gone.
This, as a player, strikes me as wording-wise, especially very reminiscent of traditional Fey bargains and stuff like that. Is
And
it possible
I think
that
Will would catch a little bit of that Fey that's in there. So you may be curious, but again, because you said it, in fairness of metagaming, I don't think that Will, even with the 26, which is very high and very awesome, I don't think that Will thinks that the engine is stealing something and Ruin is lesser for it. It is that the engine needed something of his essence, and Ruin gave it, and now it is no longer part of Ruin. It is part of the engine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I meant it more as just sort of like how Will is probably interpreting that is more in the Fey bargain kind of aspect of that.
Now that we've all done that, I do need Tucker to roll a percentile, and I believe we're at 45.
We're at 45 or 50. I can't remember which.
I think it's 45, because I think 50
right.
was the last one and you rolled a 52.
No, I rolled under it, so I would have.
Or yeah, you rolled it under it by 2. So you rolled you rolled a 48
so
last
need
time.
to roll under a 45.
Yeah, roll under a 45.
Fingers
That
crossed.
is a 57.
A 57. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, the next thing that I'm about to say is for all of us as players and audience members, but Will does not know this as a character. Give me 1 second, please. I need to click some things.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
That's
Tucker,
not good.
if you open up D&D Beyond, D&D Beyond, if you open up D&D Beyond, you should now see
You messing with my character sheet.
No, I'm not messing with your character sheet.
Oh,
Surprise,
dear.
paladin levels.
You
We
should
just-
see a character. I have to share this with you.
Oh my god. I love the tension.
On Discord, Tucker, I just sent you a link.
I don't know what mood music to set.
Just silence. Or maybe just like a
confusing
heartbeat.
music. Confusing music.
Okay.
Mentos commercial.
The Mentos
I just
commercial,
sent
yes.
you a link, Tucker. Can you open that and tell me that you see you should see a character sheet for a person named Grant Castleman?
Yeah, I see that.
Grant, this has happened to you before, and
What?
you know that when it happens, you have to do your best to sort of play along until you can sleep. But you blink your eyes, Grant, and you are standing in a room on a ship. Or you're standing in a room in a workshop. There is a GIF and an orc and a human around you. There's some weird undulating box on the table. And you once again find yourself in one of these confusing moments where you are no longer back at home. And you tend to think of these as just very strange dreams you've drifted off. And you know, if you can just make it through your day as this weird person, it's a recurring dream. They sometimes they're on boats, sometimes they're on like planets and asteroids. And if you can make it through the day of this weird dream and go to sleep again, when you wake up, you will be back home.
Okay.
So all of the rest of you see Will, like he's in the middle of he's talking to this, and then he sort of loses his footing for a second. And I will say he's right next to you, Lockridge. He loses his footing for like just a second, and you can put an arm out to steady him, and he kind of blinks and looks around, and then sort of goes back to normal. He shifts his weight and goes back to normal. See, you were in the middle of talking. You were in the middle of saying like, okay, we can build this again. And we'll say you were right in the middle of your sentence. And Will was right in the middle of the sentence of like, oh, we can build this, and this is such a big deal. This is how we can do it. We're all going to be really rich. And looks around and catches himself, and then just kind of he stops in the middle of a sentence and is back to normal.
I'm assuming that Grant has never seen Ruin's the only person I think Grant might have seen before. I'm assuming Grant has never seen Ruin before.
Call me high or low.
Low.
That's a 4. No, you have never seen any of these people in this room before.
Cool.
Cool. Tight.
Are you all right there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Can I do some sort of check on that?
You can make an insight check.
I'm
Can I
gonna
make
cause
a deception check.
Oh, I'm gonna cause a distraction straight up, and be like, all right, look, I don't understand half of what is happening right here, right now, okay? But what I know for certain is we can't simply dump junk into the middle of space and say it's profit. Do we have a way to make it so that the code to find these things are only able to be accessed by ourselves, or, what's to stop anyone else from using these?
I only rolled a 15.
I mean, even with a 15, that's not bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, the ship
It's just
stopped.
very abrupt.
He's tethered to it. This was probably just a weird, like, psychic, like, oh, yeah, that's all.
Are you still with us? We're talking to you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so continue on.
Yeah, so and Lockridge has just said, like, can we make the
Yeah.
beacon like proprietary essentially?
And
this is so much to throw at someone who literally just got here.
I'm just gonna make a straight intelligence roll to see if I can pick up that we are talking about the beacon. Just from
you don't need to make a roll. Someone's talking about a beacon, and there is a weird thing that has a slight glow to it on the table. But I would say Ruin and Grant make an Arcana check. Grant, I believe your Arcana is a +0.
Yep, that looks right.
Oh my god. Ruin.
That is a nat 1.
What?
Ruin. So here's what happens. Ruin, you know that the way the beacon works is that anybody in the astral sea can see it. It's like a landmark. You also know that like this is a good thing, essentially. Before you can say that, Grant
I can just start talking.
Looks at it and immediately says,
"Oh, I mean, I think that if it gets dropped overboard, it'll probably just sink. It should be fine. We don't need to worry about like anyone running into it or anything."
That happens.
What do you mean sink?
Well, you said toss it overboard. If we toss it overboard, that's not going to float.
What? Where do you think we are right now?
Well, Captain, we're on a ship, obviously. And I mean, the beacon should be easier to find once it's set up.
Lockridge is gonna walk uncomfortably close to Will.
Perception check. Everybody else roll make a insight.
Okay.
You said deception check?
Yeah, Will make a deception. Everyone roll insight.
That is a dirty 20 for me.
I assume you mean Grant, because I would love to make that with Will.
That's an 11.
5.
So
I guess 8. I'm not sure why it rolled twice, but 8 was the first one.
Will is not is not acting right for whatever happened. Now I will remind you, you all just came to a grinding halt. Will was magically and psychically tethered to the entire ship. Like Will was kind of part of the living ship, and you all just came to a grinding halt, and there's this magical thing that's never existed before, and Will's acting a little goofy.
Look, Lockridge is
Will,
I was gonna say Lockridge is acting with absolute confidence here. He walks immediately up to Will and gets really close. And if you've ever seen a hippo real close, it's big, right? And he'll look him in the eye, up and down, and then sort of
turn your head to look him in the eye.
Yeah. And you can see like these little tiny hippo ears just sort of like flapping every once in a while as he says, "Captain, I think perhaps maybe Will has spent a little bit too much time in that chair there. I mean, look, I might not know how it works, but the reason I was having him escorted into his bunk is because he basically lost consciousness and became unresponsive until partway through moving. At which point, he didn't realize where he was, and I think perhaps maybe it's the fatigue of being in the chairs got him a bit muddled. Permission to send him back to his bunk for a quick nap and appoint a temporary Spelljammer."
I will happily go lie down if that'll make things easier for everyone.
Permission granted, Lockridge, but can we find that Thrycreen? The new one.
I'll pop my head.
They had a bit of healing, didn't they? I think maybe something about all this magical energy might have might have touched
Sure.
Will a little in the head.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll arrange it right now. All right, come on, Will. And I'm going to I'm gonna
Yes, my name is Will.
I'm gonna sort of move behind him and just sort of like, because I'm expecting him to put up a fight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna like wall of meat behind him and walk him to his bunk. And if I see the
Okay.
if I see the guy whose name I absolutely know because I'm not zooming around the map like a lunatic, Zatal, I will tell him
Tal.
to. Oh,
There's a little
Tal.
cheek
Oh, yeah.
click.
Tal.
Yeah.
I will call to him to come and give.
You don't see him
give Will
through
a
the
medical.
wall, but if you bellow out his name, he'll come out.
How do you bellow?
I mean, you're loud. You're big.
Yeah.
You probably just make that sound
You
loudly.
figure it out.
Also,
Oi, bug boy!
It's probably obvious to Lockridge pretty quickly that when you start leading Will or like following Will to
Will.
their bunk, they clearly have no idea where. Like, they probably walk past the door, and you need to like pull them back.
Oh, absolutely. But I'll
Yeah.
presume that as the resistance. You know what I mean? Like Will
Mhm.
doesn't want to go to bed and he's trying to get back to work, and I'm like, oh no, this way, mate. All right. And if none of your shenanigans today, look, we appreciate you, but you're working way too hard. Okay, just
Sorry, I don't
You
mean
and
to be in
Grant,
trouble.
you are used to being called Will in these dreams.
Uh-huh.
you've been working far too hard and spending way too much time in the chair, right? I don't know what you see, okay, when you're plugged into all this stuff, okay, but you know, all of our lives are on the line here.
Yeah, of course. I understand.
Now, look, I'm not going to undermine you because you're an officer, okay? And under Captain Lockridge, I swear, I will not allow anything bad to happen, right? Otherwise, my name is not Lockridge. I mean, you know what I mean? That thing.
At a gaming
And
pigeon.
he'll say, now, if you're in trouble, you need to tell me, okay?
No,
It's what-
I'm fine.
All right, because
I'll
what
just-
we do, okay,
I'll
we
just
help
take
each
lie
other
down.
out.
I'll feel fine after I just get some shut eye.
All right. Well, we're going to still be in the Ruins workshop, okay? Taking a look at that beacon. You have a good rest, and when you're done, you can come see us, okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Lockridge. I appreciate it.
Are there any other key
Swish.
plot points you want to?
No, what?
and
That's so perfectly natural. That was a perfectly
And-
ordinary conversation I just had.
And Ruin's
True,
workshop,
true.
as you know, is located down the hall. And then
Where we just came from.
and Ruin's the one who looks like
as
this.
as you get Will into his bunk, Tal does show up, and you both hear in your heads. You say, "Doing something you're asking for."
Yes. No, look. Will is a bit tired. We just want you to make sure that he's only just a little tired and he's not sick.
Let's see.
I'm fine.
Let's see what it is that he is able to do today.
That's okay. Tal will take good care of you. He's our ship's doctor, and we got to really try him out. We haven't really had many sick people here, so it's a good opportunity to see if he knows what he's doing.
Also
Oh,
more of
good.
a cleric, isn't he?
He is. Yes, he is a cleric.
Yeah. I mean, how hard
He's
could
all-
it be?
he's-
Like, an insect anatomy to a mammal. It's pretty much same, right?
He's the closest we got.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
no, your
insect
thorax is
mammal.
all wrong. We'll have to operate.
You see that he walks over to Will, and he places his two upper arms on the side of Will's hands, and one of his lower arms on his chest, and his left lower arm is sort of making writing equations out into the sky, and you hear like a clicking and chirping sound that he makes from his mandibles, and there's a bright glowing light that just emanates from the center of Grant Will of your body and radiates out for a second, and they're like with a smell of sea spray and the sound of like seagulls dissipates. You are cured of at least one disease or one condition that affects you. You have no disease or conditions affecting you, and you, Grant, feel absolutely amazing. You feel, Grant, like you just woke up from the best bedtime / massage / shower / orgasm you've ever had. You feel amazing.
Well, that was
We call them
fantastic.
Mashawagasms.
Mashawagasms.
Oh, but I-
Mashawagasms. It's
but
an
I
ancient
can't-
Jewish.
I can't
art
talk
form.
about women's thighs, but but showergasms are fine.
But you are.
Good night, everybody.
You are still but
Been
yeah, you
kicked
feel
off the
you feel
internet.
absolutely fantastic.
That was just wonderful. Thank you.
Tell him his
I-
fingers are magic.
I'm all right. That was I'll never forget that. I'm fine. Y'all can leave me. I'll give a bit of rest and I'll be fine. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let's tab over real quick. As much fun as this is, I do love it. How do Ruin and the captain deal with the beacon?
Well,
I'm just gonna see what happens if I pick it up and walk it to the upper deck and just let it
Yeah.
go.
I'll accompany Ruin.
Okay. I mean, anticlimactic, but also the single greatest moment in all of reality in a weird way. You walk it upstairs. There's this bizarre feeling, like almost like vertigo, like when you go down a hill in a strange way, or like an elevator stops short. Like as Ruin, as you move with the beacon, it's like it forces the ship to move around it. Like it is the center of reality in a strange way that's barely perceptible, but it's that weird drop in the stomach of vertigo. And as you let it go off the ship, everyone on the ship, because that's how travel works, it works by will alone in the astral sea. You think of a place and you immediately know the most direct way to it. Nothing about safety, nothing about speed, nothing about what may or may not be in the way. But if you think of a place, that's how travel on the astral sea works. Basically, as long as you guys have been on the astral sea, you're trying to get the entire boat to think about Kryn space, and the boat then just whoever is the Spelljammer knows the direction. And now all of a sudden there is this beacon, there's this point in the light, there's a North Star that does not move, that anyone can now both see and sense magically and psychically and go, that is where I'm going. And it never moves, which isn't how this astral sea works, but it's how the beacon works. And that's what makes it so special. And as soon as you let it go, you both know as magic users, that beacon is now fixed. Despite the fact that all the rest of the astral sea shifts in a non-relativistic way, everything now can know where this beacon is and travel to it. And that's what makes it so special and so powerful. Not as a monopoly over its existence, but you now have a set path that you can chart, and there's one of them. Now, anybody that's coming out of realm space, because you've only been out of realm space for 2 or 3 days. Now, anybody coming out of realm space can go immediately here and sail to Kryn space. But if you set another beacon along the way, they can sail to the next beacon and the next beacon and the next beacon, and you can literally create the first pathway through all of the Astral Sea since recorded history. And the second you drop it off of the side of the ship, you both, as magic users, realize that you've laid the first step in something that's never existed before.
Ruin, it's nice to know that although my eyes are getting cloudier and duller every year, there's still sights like this to behold. I'm real proud of you, lad. I'll slap Ruin on the back. Now get your arse to work, because we need to be planting more seeds for untold amounts of travelers who will be able to find their way through Kryn space.
Well, let me get a nap first. That was a lot.
All right. I dare say you've earned it. All right. Get yourself downstairs. Get some food in you and have a rest. You've done good.
I'll saunter off to the kitchen.
Okay, nice. I'm going to say that the rest of the day goes fairly uneventfully. You guys continue your trek towards Kryn space. We're going to pick things up next time with some fun ways that astral navigation has to work, morale versus actual jobs getting done. But in the last 5 minutes or so that we have of this, I'm going to say we sort of find ourselves in the last watch of the day. Ruin, you've kind of been relaxing. You've both as an officer assigning some shifts, and some of the other crew members that kind of have heard what you've done. You get kind of the rest of the day to relax and have to yourself. Will Grant, you got a little bit of a nap, but you didn't. But you didn't go to bed for the evening. So you try to catch a cat nap and you can't really fall asleep and you doze a little bit, but then you wake up and you're Grant. This is still you. The dream's not over yet. We'll say that Lockjaw is up on
I'll probably
deck.
be spell jamming.
Yeah, you're spell jamming, so you're pretty well we're in there, and we'll say Lockridge, you're fast asleep. You're a very heavy sleeper. You're fast asleep. And Grant, you find yourself out in the mess hall with someone you recognize as Ruin from the artificer's room, and there is a giant 7 foot wide, 9 foot tall Drider who has this very interesting accent, and she really wants to make sure that you've got enough to eat, and she gives you a couple of biscuits and a little popover. And she's got this lavender shirt that's very silky and puffy, and she's got this mint green apron over the top of it. And the weirdest part is, while everyone else here is clearly a sailor, she has this weird name tag, she used to work at a diner or something, that says Lana on it, that she wears. And she hands you a nice little, it's it looks like it's pounded and ground beef that's on a patty, and there's cheese on top of it, and there's potato wedges, and there's a little side salad that's on there. And she kind of gives you this, and she winks 4 of the eyes that have no pupils on the side of her head and says, "Order up." And she kind of skitters uncomfortably back to her kitchen area. And you have a cheeseburger with fries, and you're sitting next to Ruin, who has like I would guess Ruin probably has a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just the two of you. There's one other guy there's a guy and a gal that are off like eating like looks like they have dessert. It's not great. It's like pound cake. That's it. And they're eating. But yeah, you find yourself at the table with the one other person that you notice, Grant. How do you guys want to take this last couple minutes?
All right. Well, what I miss after Lockridge took me to my room.
We took the thing from the box and we set it free. We just just let it go.
Great. That sounds fantastic. So what's anything needs doing around? I guess I'm kind of wired.
I mean, you already had a shift at the helm, so it's kind of downtime for now. I don't really know what you do in your spaces when you got downtime.
Right. Nice. Okay. Good to know. And so you were saying something about more of those beacons need to get built.
Yeah, remember we found the box of parts, and we're going to Kryn space. We're leaving out all of the beacons to light the way. You feeling all right?
As I said, just a little wired. Just it's been a long day.
You tried taking a walk on the upper deck, looking around, getting some what passes for air around here.
Yeah, sure. It sounds good. He just sort of, without saying anything, just sort of like points in the general direction of the stairs leading up with a vaguely questioning look at you, and then just never mind, and head just sort of wanders in that direction. Does Grant know about that Spelljammers exist?
No.
Okay, cool.
So Grant,
What does Grant know?
You walk up the stairs and you are on the deck of a ship. You're familiar with ships as your time as a landscaper and gardener. You know that there are ships, that come into port in the town that are about half a mile, 2 mile, maybe 2-3 miles away. And you are on the deck of the ship and you are surrounded by the night sky above you, below you, to the sides. You instinctually hold your breath as you're terrified that you wouldn't be able to breathe. You see creatures that you would think of as dolphins from the one vacation that you and your wife took to the sea, but they're flying through space. You see asteroids with faces zip overhead, screaming into the night. You can see shooting stars and nebulas. You see goldfish the size of Labradors that are being ridden by strange amorphous blob creatures. The space that you look up at the night sky is suddenly all around you in a simultaneously claustrophobic and suffocating way, and is full of terrifying and beautiful creatures that you never knew existed. And that is where we will pick up next week on the next episode.
Oh my god.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. I know a couple of you are very confused. You have every right to be
Us
confused.
too.
Yes. Yes.
If it makes you feel better, me too.
Will used an ability called knowledge of a past life. That ability is being slightly homebrewed because of the character class that Will is. And then in the next moment, Will was no longer Will. He is a man named Grant who believes that he is having a dream because he has a reoccurring dream about being a man named Will. That is where we are. So if you're confused, you're in very good company, including Tucker, who is playing the character Grant and has never seen the character sheet before.
Yeah.
Please join us next week. Thank you so much for being here this week. Let's start off with our new with their very fancy hat. Let's start off with our new captain, Lockjaw. Ellen, where can we find you? What are you up to? What do you have going on?
Oh, mate, always everything all at once. You can find me mostly at Roll to Cast. That's ROLE to Cast. We're a TTRPG podcast. Each season is a different game system. We're currently finishing up Avatar Legends, which has been really fun. If you're a fan of the TV show, then you will love this season. It's very, very fun, but there is something for everyone. So subscribe to that. Head to our YouTube page. We've got all of our monthly live streams there as well. And we have been announced as recipients of the Adelaide Fringe Artist Grant or the Artist Fund. Yay. Because Roll to Cast will be doing 4 live shows during the 2023 Adelaide Fringe next year. So if you're in and around Adelaide, February, March, yeah, that's right. We will be doing 4 live shows. So that's really, really awesome. And I can't wait to do one of my tried and true games, Kids on Bikes, for one of those shows. It's going to be very, very fun.
That is awesome. And then directly below Ellen, we have our Ruin, who had such a heartbreaking but lovely backstory that we found today, played by Nix. Nix, what do you have going on in your world?
Same old, streaming 3 days a week over at Punkle Nix on Twitch. I'm always an independent artist doing glassworks at my shop. If anybody's interested in any nerdy glassware, I got your hookup right here. Generally just being silly and slightly weird on the internet. In most places, Punkle Nix on Twitter. It's MC_etching, and I pop up in places and do things.
And then we have Tucker, who usually plays Will, but for
apparently
now,
not
playing Grant. And where can we find you? What do you got going on? Where can we commission you to do awesome stuff?
So I'm Tucker. I normally play Will. I'm currently playing someone named Grant. Hopefully I'll get a chance to look at their character sheet between now and next session. But yeah, I do some 3D modeling. I did the model of the Northwest, which is hovering above Ryan's head right now. I have an Instagram, which is pretty sparsely filled right now, but we'll have more stuff showing up on it soon at shadowcast_creations. Or you can email me if you have any questions about rates, commissions, anything like that at shadowcast.creations@gmail.com. I primarily do architectural and hard surface modeling, but I am willing to talk about whatever kind of stuff you might be interested in, see if it would be a good fit.
And then, of course, we have our wonderful host, Michael, playing Lockridge, our GIF XO. Michael, we know we can find you here, but what else do you have going on?
Yeah, g'day guys, my name's Mike, I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place, this is my face. You can find it here a bunch of times during the week. We are going through some big changes as we've been announcing on and off, and you will see a lot of really, really cool shows coming up on my channel. And if you're interested in D&D and role-playing and acting and performance stuff, then definitely give it a follow. We're going to be hopefully starting next week a series where I'll be creating characters with and on Hero Forge, and then doing some voice acting to figure out, feel, and create voices to not only hone my skills as a voice actor, but also to like practice dialects that I'm not familiar with. So if you want to come with me on that journey and maybe even practice yourself in the privacy of your home, where you don't have to be on stream for the public opinion, then yeah, come join those shows. Also, I will be on Quincy's Tavern tomorrow in the wee hours of the morning. So that's 7 a.m. Aussie time for the West Coast. Like, I want to say 10 a.m. for the folks in over East, or 7 p.m. for the folks in Eastern Standard Time, where I'll be over in Quincy's Tavern playing the first character I ever played on a live stream. Captain Mutaru from The Adventures of the Windswift on How to Be a Great GM is going to be making a comeback at Tavern Brawl on Quincy's Tavern, so be sure to come and check out that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited. Yeah, he was like, by far he's one of my first and favorite characters I've ever played. He's a Minotaur Kabuki dancer.
Yes.
His parents, yeah, his parents wanted him to be a bard, but he wanted to be a fighter, goddammit. And that's where he lives. Yeah.
Very fun. And I am Ryan. I am half of Roll4, ROLL, the number 4 initiative on YouTube. We make geeky videos. We do reviews. I talk about movies and stuff like that. Every Tuesday we put a video out. We got a bunch of stuff out on Twitter and stuff like that. You can find us at R4I Vlog on Twitter and on the gram, and so please follow us there. And you can find me here every Friday night. We have 4 episodes left. Please make sure that you stay tuned to all of this. We got some really things are ramping up from here on out. And come over and check out the videos if you like us. Do a little sub, maybe do a little bit of share. That's the best thing that you can do for us. And I hope to see some comments and see you again next week in the chat.
Indeed. For now, however, we will now pass the raid on to our dear friend Phoenixy Wacky, who is playing with a whole bunch of our friends. AJ Winters, Dreaded GM, Robert Hartley GM, Little Red Dot, and of course, James Hellick, who will all be playing for a fundraiser over on their channel. So be sure to go over there, send all the love, flood their chat with love hearts, and of course, it's a charity. So remember, if you want to give kindly, give generously, but of course, give responsibly, as we always say. We love your faces, and we'll see you next time. And until then, as always, from us to you, game hard or die trying. Bye, everyone.
Bye.